consumers are getting absolutely hammered right now with these high prices, and the holiday shopping season is shaping up to be a very short one and likely a very uneventful one. I have all the details and what the former vice chairman of Target is now saying and the warning shots that are being thrown out. Let's get into it and talk through all the details. First off, can I ask you a huge favor? Please make sure to like the video with the big thumbs up button down below. Also, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, first off, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe as well. Again, with the big subscribe button down below. Thanks so much for your support. It's such a weird time right now. I want to do whatever I can for you right now. Let's get into it and talk about it. All right, now first off, let me share with you some statistics. As you'll see here in this article, pretty shocking stuff, but this is weird and it shows a massive shift in our overall economy. In fact, have you seen my recent videos out lately where I've been talking about some of these pharmacies, 1,200 Walgreens pharmacies closing in the next 3 years, 444 7-Eleven stores also closing over the next couple years here. A lot of things changing, not to mention Big Lots closing a bunch of stores, Dollar General, again, closing a bunch of stores. There's a bunch of different things that are happening. Massive retail stores are just closing down, which seems very odd considering it feels like, hey, haven't these things been around forever? Aren't these things profitable? And why are they closing so many locations? Hundreds and hundreds, well over a few thousand stores, retail locations that are being closed across the country right now. It just seems very odd to me, right? Well, here's what else is interesting. And again, you'll probably see this here in the article, but I will share this with you. According to some statistics and projections that are out there, within the next 5 years, they're projecting 45,000 retail closures across the country. That's nuts. In 5 years' time, that is 9,000 retail stores closing every single year, according to these projections here. So, I don't know. To me, that sounds nuts. That sounds like a lot of locations. Well, why would this be happening? A lot of businesses moving online, right? I mean, have you seen, lately of the last few years here, have you gone to a local shopping mall? Don't get me wrong, sometimes they're still very busy, but it just seems like you walk into a shopping mall and it seems like there's a lot of vacancies and it's like a ghost town, right? Hey, where is everybody? Do I have the place to myself here? It kind of feels like it, right? Sometimes. I mean, and again, don't get me wrong, people still go to malls. It's still a fine place to go, but a lot of this is shifting online. People are buying a lot of things online, and the foot traffic in these malls and places like this is just not there like it used to be, right? So anyway, here's another interesting statistic that I want to share with you really quickly. Here's what they found over the last year as well, according to the most recent inflation reports. Inflation is up 2.4%, right? It's still, still elevated above where they want it to be. But guess what? Retail sales are up 1.7%. That's a discrepancy of 0.7%. So in other words, what it really means is that we are still, no surprise here, we are still getting less for our money than what we once were, right? So in other words, inflation is still outpacing retail sales. In other words, we're getting less for the money that we're spending. It's not like we're going out and spending money on the things that we want and getting more. We're getting less in our shopping bags as we leave the stores, right? Yeah, exactly. Same old thing that we've been hearing about for so many years, which is basically prices going up and whatever we're getting for that is coming down, getting less and less and less, right? So anyway, by the way, there was a recent interview that was out with Gerald Storch. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This guy is a former vice chairman from Target and basically coming out suggesting, hey, this is a rough time right now. And we're going to be seeing a really, really short holiday shopping season, which if you look at the calendar, that's actually true. Reason being is Thanksgiving, the very last Thursday of November, is the 28th of the month, right? There's only a couple days left in November, which really means is that that's really shortening up the holiday shopping season. Technically, some people are starting to buy things now and stuff like that, but technically the holiday shopping season kind of starts right around, Thanksgiving and the Friday after, and then goes through obviously like the day before Christmas. That's kind of what they usually identify as the holiday shopping season. Well, with this year being Thanksgiving so late in the month, that it's like, hey, we've really shaved this thing down and we've really come down to kind of the very last days of how long the shopping season could actually be. So it's a shorter shopping season, and they're actually expecting sales this year to be even less than what they have been, okay? Now, this is kind of interesting because last year, we had the same predictions that came out, just being totally fair with you. Last year, around this same time, we saw all these predictions coming out saying, oh my, this is going to be a really bad shopping season. This is going to be a really bad holiday shopping season. There's going to be, we're not going to see record sales. It's going to be bad. And then what happened? Everybody went out because we felt like nobody had any money. That was the case that we saw. The situation that we were hearing about all year last year around this time was that nobody has any money. We're all tapped out. We've got no savings, stuff like that. And then sure enough, what happened last year? People went out, spent a ton of money. We saw record sales for holiday shopping. And they said, yeah, I guess we weren't as tapped out as we thought. I guess consumers had more money than we thought, right? So we'll have to see what happens, obviously, this year with the holiday shopping season. We're not there yet. We're still out of a few weeks here, but we'll have to see how this whole thing shakes out. But according to what they're suggesting is that, this might not be very good this year. But again, we heard the same old story last year, so who knows what happens. But here's one more thing that I want to point out as well. So yes, maybe people don't really have the money right now, but what happened last year is that right after the holiday shopping season ended, do you remember the huge spike we saw in credit card debt and credit card balances? It was huge. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head right now, but when we got that information out early in this year, after the fourth quarter ended, and we saw credit card debt and consumer debts and what we were floating on balances, it was like, oh, that's where everybody got their money. They floated it on credit cards. Not a good plan, right? Which, by the way, I said this before in other videos, like I'm a huge fan of credit cards. I have multiple credit cards myself. I use them all the time, like literally for every single purchase. Not really a fan of carrying balances on credit cards. But right now, it's kind of like the game has changed a little bit. Again, I don't like carrying balances on credit cards, but unfortunately, that's kind of not the reality of the situation anymore. You kind of got to do what you got to do these days, unfortunately. And I can tell you this much, that 21, 22% interest on a credit card these days really bites. Just saying, okay? If you can avoid floating a balance on a credit card, take it from me, please. Do everything you possibly can to avoid that. It is not fun paying that interest on that thing. It is just like a total waste of money. With the balances, but again, just do what you can. But again, everybody's got to do what they can. Just saying, okay? Just trying to give you a little bit of personal experience here. Try not to do it if you can. The interest is not fun to pay these days. But anyway, this is the situation that's going on. And again, this is no shock to anybody right now with everything, with rising prices, high elevated prices, getting less. In fact, maybe you've seen recent videos out with me talking about shrinkflation. That is a real thing that's out there as well. And just an interesting time that we're living through. But I want to throw this out there really quickly again as we, continue to move forward here. Unless we get some kind of massive change with the overall economy, unless we get a recession or something along these lines, nothing will change. Nothing at all will change with this economy. Nothing will change with prices. Nothing. We're going to get more of the same. So that's why I've been hammering the table for a while now, saying, please give us a recession already. It'll reset these prices. It'll give us pricing power. It'll give us some dignity back with our purchases and the money that we may have or may not have. It'll help out in a lot of ways to bring these prices back down, and the cost of living and the affordability of a lot of things, it'll bring that back down. It'll reset a lot of this. But if we don't get some kind of major economic contraction or recession, we will get nothing. It'll be the exact same going forward, if not even possibly getting worse as we continue to move forward with the inflation that, by the way, is still moving back higher again. So, oh, wow. Yeah, here we go, right? Anyway, I just want to keep you informed of what's going on out there. And again, I'm not here to be some doom and gloom and some, whoa, fear-mongering type of person. That's definitely not how I want to be, but rather I'm a realist. I look at the big picture here and to say, this is what's happening. And I don't think it's any shock to anybody to be like, yeah, I agree. I see that happening in our local areas and our local stores as well. So anyway, just want to share this information with you, with what I'm finding out there. Hope this helps you. Again, I like to just bring this information to you as I come across it. I read so much stuff every single day. And when I come across something like this, I feel like, you know what? It's your duty to know this. I feel like you should probably have an idea what's going on. And your local news probably isn't talking about this. Anyway, hope this helps. Again, please make sure to like the video down below. Totally free to do so. Thumbs up button. Subscribe down below as well if you haven't done so yet. Totally free to do so. Otherwise, check out the other videos here on the channel. Thousands in the video library, 5,000 plus there. The popular videos I've hand selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section. And right now showing up on your screen as well. You'll see some videos there. Thanks again. Have a nice day. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate you. And I'll see you again.